Hello and welcome to Evolving on Purpose, a show I have created in hopes that I can inspire you to take the deep dive into discovering who you are and what you came here to do. Each week, I will have on individuals to share their unique journey to self-discovery and where their purpose is taking them. I will also do solo episodes to share what I am currently learning, practicing, or even just contemplating. So come on, what are you waiting for? Join me in Evolving on Purpose. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited that I have Madineyah on the podcast today. I actually heard her on somebody else's podcast and was like, oh my gosh, she's a real deal. And I have to have her on my podcast. And so I tracked her down on Instagram and asked her, and she was so kind to, not only did we meet and I did a little bit of her human design, and she gave me showed me what she does. And so we'll get into that, but thank you so much for coming on the show. Welcome.
Oh, so happy to be here. Happy you tracked me down.
I just want to jump into, because you have such an interesting story. Let's just start, like, where did you grow up? How did you get to where you are now? Kind of like, what's your origin story? How did this unfold? And then we can go into deeper where you are now and what that's like.
So I am from Cape Town, South Africa, and I've been living in Brooklyn, New York for a decade now. And so it's been quite the journey, to get here emotionally, physically, energetically. I grew up in a loving, close-knit family, but very traditional, religious home. And all my family is still in Cape Town, South Africa. All my immediate family, they live a good life, high quality life there. So I was the big dreamer. I was always the one, thinking differently, wanting to live abroad. And it's absolutely possible. My intuition has definitely been guiding me since a young kid. I did not have language for it back then. I just kind of felt intuitive nudges. I would just say, oh, I know. When people would ask me, I would just say, I know. And it just got stronger and stronger over the years by feeding it, doing a lot of personal development and being curious, open-minded, saying yes a lot. And I truly live a life now that my younger self, or selves, younger selves, it's like, what on earth? Like, who are you? Like, how did you get here? Like, seems so impossible when I was, 8, 9, 10, dreaming up traveling. I was always drawn to traveling. And when I got older, I actually met a few Arab people, and they told me the meaning of my name. And it's an Arabic name, Madineyah, and the meaning of my name means cosmopolitan female. And I was like, whoa, like, no wonder I've always been like drawn to traveling, and I live in New York City, the most cosmopolitan city in the world. And it's just amazing, like the vibrations. It's so important what we name our kids, because it's there. People say your name every day, and so they vibrating that energy, cosmopolitan female. So there we go. My name basically drew me here. Yeah.
It is so funny, because that is something that, while you're pregnant, it's a big thing. You're sitting there like, what do I name this kid? What do I name this kid? What do I name this kid? And that's probably one thing that most moms use intuitively, right? They're looking at the baby books. They're waiting for that yes, right? So that's a very interesting, I never thought of it that way, but yeah, it's something that's very intentional, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's so important. And that's why I feel parents, like really like linger and dissect, but it's an intuitive thing.
Yeah. It's very interesting, because my mom did not like the name. My dad wanted to name me Angela, and she had this big thing about Angie. I don't like that name. And so my dad was like, okay. Or she said, we can name her Angela, but we can only call her that. And then as soon as I was born, my dad was calling me Angie, and everybody called me Angie. But it's very close to Angel, and I've always been attracted to like angel pictures and angel sculptures, and I collected them growing up, and then I kind of disconnected from that. And then I took a class where you call in angels, and I don't really think of them as like angel. I just think of it as like this really beautiful, like there's all of the colors of the crayon. Well, if you pick an angel, you're just picking like that color that, it's giving more intention to what energy you're bringing in. And so I work with that a lot. So I thought that was kind of interesting too.
That's beautiful. I mean, it was right in my face all the years, but I actually never realized angel, because it's such a different pronunciation. Yeah, wow. It's basically angel with the A. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Does your mom only call you Angela?
No, she calls me Angie. And
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah.
as soon as it was tied to me, I don't think that it had the same connotation as maybe the high school kid that she didn't get along with or something that had that name.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get that. And so interesting, I love already the conversation is flowing. So on Friday in my Facebook group, Expand What's Possible, I do free energy clearings for anyone. And Friday, we actually cleared the emotional charge around names in the personal development field, like that just gets overused and watered down, like namaste and alignment, because words that has collective energy, the more people say it, and the disappointment they feel around that when they don't get their manifestation. So even the word manifesting. So anyway, we did all clean up on that. And then I also told people like their play work, their homework is to tune into words that they use and names that has emotional charge. So it seems like, your mom had the charge with Angie, maybe someone, in high school, as you said, and you can totally clean up the energy of that. And it takes a couple of minutes, the way I teach it, so that when you say Angie and you say words that's maybe hard to get around because everyone in your family uses it, you're not connected to that charge anymore. So you absolutely can clear up the energy of words. So you're not tuned into that old story or traumatic event that happened. So it's actually very cool. Like you can clear anything essentially. It's just energy. You just blow it up, transform it, transmute it. Not transform. Transform is like changing it into another form. Transmute is like blow up. So you could totally do that.
Yeah, I will be tuning into that. I want to back up and talk about like what we're even talking about, because we haven't even talked about what you do. But I just want to mention on that, I have Chiron. If anybody looks at Chiron, it's the wounded healer in astrology. And in the gene keys or human design, there's Chiron, and my Chiron in human design is all about mediocrity, right? And so I literally remember the moment that I learned how to spell that word in 6th grade. It felt like somebody stabbed me in the stomach. I never wanted to be mediocre at all, and I remember that moment like it was yesterday. Like it was really a big deal for me. And so when I saw that was the word associated with the shadow associated with my Chiron, and then in astrology, it's in my 10th house of career. So it's like making money at what I do, because I am such a spiritual person. Making money at what I do is a really hard thing for me to kind of wrap my mind around. And you did a lot of clearing with that. Business, entrepreneur, all of those words were trigger words for me. And you did a lot of clearing around that. And I just did a fair this weekend and I didn't feel that stabbing at all. And so it's very interesting how your work is really quick and accessible. And so, yeah, I can't wait to tune into that on Friday as well. But let's go back so people can be like, what are you guys talking about? So first, what was kind of the career path you got into? And then how did you switch into this more intuitive life coach and not just leadership? So let's talk about how you even got into your career at all.
I think how most of us drawn to this work initially get into it, we have a complete meltdown. breakdown, dark night of the soul. Yeah, definitely. Since I was a kid, I was drawn to radio DJing, radio presenting at the specific radio station where I grew up. Big radio station, commercial radio station, hundreds of thousands of listeners every week. And I just knew at the age of 8, I'm going to be a radio DJ at the specific radio station. And that was my intention as an 8-year-old. And I flew with it. Crazy hustle culture. I got, the radio show at the specific radio station. I worked with a lot of my childhood heroes. Some of the older ones were still there. 3 of them that I'd listened to growing up, they were my colleagues now. And I felt nervous all the time, anxious all the time. I was so focused on this goal. I was so ambitious, very goal-driven. And, I wasn't aware of personal development. I knew the power of your beliefs. So I was like, yeah, I can make it happen. I can do anything. And that's how I got the radio show. And once I got the big dream, the big goal, it literally all came crashing down because I was not emotionally equipped and even unsure of my voice. I knew the message. I didn't have like language like now I'm so purposeful, intentional, but I just felt like I want to help people change the way they think about things, when I really sat with what do I want to do with the radio show. And every time the microphone went on, I was hella nervous. I was tripping over my words. I was just like, and it was a commercial hit radio station. So we were playing like lots of pop music, and then we were live from the clubs and the beaches and in bikinis, which is totally fine. But that I was totally misaligned, not being in my truth, my authentic power. And then a friend went away, and she came back, and she just had this bright spark in her face. And I was like, where did you go? And she said, I went away for a week to learn about myself. I had no idea what that meant. It sounded like she went to Mars, but something inside of me said, go. I always knew to listen to my intuitive spark. So that's the 2 things that drove me before I got into personal development. Believing I could have anything. I think I just heard that over the years enough. And I knew the power of your intention. And I also followed my intuitive nudges. So those were kind of my 3 guiding lights pre the big personal development, rabbit hole I've been on. And I went to the next year to this conscious leadership retreat that my friend went to. I had no idea what it meant. And she was in the creative industry. So it wasn't like, men in suits and like leadership. It was kind of retreats, which is commonplace now. But this was 2008 when it was not commonplace, when you couldn't just, log on to social media and get a meditation. Those were not the times at all. And I went away for 7 days. This English business came to South Africa, and it was incredible. I finally found my people that were weird like me, that preferred to journal on a Saturday night than go to a club. So it was the most profound experience. We meditated twice a day. I learned about self-limiting beliefs and how to transform it. I don't like that word transform, but anyway, that was kind of the messaging then. And it just kickstarted my love affair for this work. I came back, I was 24 years old, and I really, really, really feel at the time I discovered the meaning of life. And so this was a long time ago, can I calculate how long is that? 15 years ago. But I just been on a rabbit hole, and I trained with him to be a coach in this leadership organization. I went with them all over, London, Italy, multiple times. They came to South Africa, and I was part of the coaching team. And I only did it for selfish reasons, for my own personal growth, because I wanted the big show, the breakfast show, the drive show. So just to kind of biohack myself. I was like, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be superhuman, all the things. And the more and more we do this work, the more our heart opens, our vibration gets higher, and we just want to do good in the world. We don't understand, we want to be extra kind. Like it's a gradual thing. And you're like, whoa, like you're just opening doors for everyone. And it was just a beautiful gradual evolution. And now it sounds so silly to think I did all this work just for myself. It's like discover your gift, share your gift. That's basically the journey I was on. And whenever I came back from these 7-day retreats that I was coaching on, the disconnect from those beautiful conversations and being in nature and coming back, to the clubs and back in studio, just playing the latest music, which I love music, all of that, but the disconnect was too big. I felt so misaligned. And yeah, eventually I resigned from my dream job. After a couple of years, I resigned and had no idea what was next. It wasn't clear that coaching would be next because I always saw it as a hobby. And yeah, that's basically how I got into it. Totally passionate about this. I love this. This is my true work. And it's really funny that I was so anti like radio and like all of that. And then I was led like last year, very recently, September 2022, to start a podcast, which totally took me by surprise, because I hung up the microphone more than a decade ago. And so a lot of people that I know now, they don't actually know that I was in radio. They don't, and I'm grateful. Like, Facebook only got started then, Instagram wasn't a thing, so I am grateful that, and my name was also different. I was just so inauthentic. I called myself Madden back then, and every time I said Madden, I would cringe, but now I know about clearing and energy and all of that. So yeah, so Madden from that specific radio station, she doesn't like exist, clear and transmute, which is cool. So now it's just me, Madineyah, intuitive life and leadership coach, and happy to, connect in a quality way. So it's quality over quantity. Those were hundreds of thousands of listeners. And now, I have a smaller community, and it's wonderful. It's purposeful. It's intentional. And yeah, that's some of my journey, how I got here.
Yes, and I've got your human design chart right next to your face while you're talking, and I'm just like, whoa. It's so interesting because you have a split definition, and that just means that you have two areas that are talking to each other, the heart and the generator, like what lights me up. And then you have that root, that power to the spleen saying like, I'm going to be successful, right? Like that 54-32 is that drive that you talked about over and over again. It's like, I'm driven to be successful. I have a little bit of fear around failure, but I'm driven no matter what, right? Like I'm going to go. And that's what drove you to start the career, the dream career in the radio, or now that you have this career, you're always driven. But that wasn't talking to the heart center when you were in radio, right? Because they don't talk, they're separate. And until you kind of brought in this consciousness around drawing in that consciousness, I always tell people when they say, well, how do I bridge this, right? And I really do believe that, doing the meditation and bringing in that outside or inner voice or whatever you want to call it, connects all of it, right? It can bridge that for us. And so then you have your vessel of love. So you've got all the different ways to love, all the different ways, and this creativity and then enthusiasm in your voice, which is why, people want to listen to you, because when you have that 16, it's like, this is what I'm learning and I can share it enthusiastically, right? And it lights people up and draws them in. So you have all of these tools and you figured out how to bridge them in a beautiful way. So they're all being used, in the highest form. So I love that so much. How did you go from just, manifestation and being this conscious leadership coach to now what you do, which is bringing in the light and clearing and transmuting and working with the energy in the way that you do?
Yeah. So I started out as a leadership coach, and I had a year when I had no idea, what's next. And I was traveling, and that's how I met my amazing now husband on a trip to New York. And that's, what led me to New York. I wouldn't have moved here, I don't think, if it wasn't for him. And when I was here, I realized, oh, wow, coaching is quite big here. It's a thing. Like around the world, it wasn't as common yet. So I was very surprised that people were using the term life coach. And I was like, oh, wow, like very progressive. And that, yeah, so I moved here, and then, I got woken up in the middle of the night by that, intuitive knowing, start a business, start a coaching business. I was like, nope, not gonna happen. Trying to squish that voice down. I was like, that sounds like too much work. And we all know, if you don't follow it, like your life is not going to go as smooth. So yes, so now I have, my coaching practice for a couple of years now, life and leadership coaching, and always the student, I'm the student first. I do my practices every day. I'm always topping up, the knowledge banks and plugging into other high vibration communities and people. It's so important, that us teachers, we also continue to do the work as we evolve. And I really felt, and I still do feel like every couple of months, actually quicker now that I'm a different person. I'm evolving so much in a good way. And 3 years ago, I did an intuitive program. I was drawn to it. I did not realize you could sharpen your intuition. I was always intuitive, but that drew me in that, oh, you can sharpen it. So I did a 3-month intensive. We practiced like a lot. And, the teacher basically said at the end of this 3 months that you will be able to have my ability where she can read energy, find where people's root causes are, blocks, stopping them today from moving forward, like the session we had, like business and charging for your wonderful gifts, and then clear it, clear that energy so you don't have that obstacle anymore and you can move forward with more grace. And yeah, I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to do this, but like, okay, I'm just going to practice. I'm going to go full out. Like my intuition is saying, this is the next thing for me. And yeah, by the end of that 3 months, I could do it. I was so surprised. It was a gradual thing, and just one day, boom, like there we go. I could suddenly like see things, intuit things, kind of like as if you're reading words in a book, it was, oh yeah, I can read. I have a third arm, like to clear things. It freaked me out, in a good way. I didn't grow up with these things. And so I was practicing still in communities, and slowly I slipped it into one-on-one client sessions because I still had my regular coaching clients, and they loved it. I was nervous to share it because people don't know me, that way. But they were getting like massive breakthroughs. They were up leveling so much quicker. They were blown away that I was like saying things about, oh, at 5 years old, I'm seeing a little girl in a hospital. And they were like, oh my goodness, like, yeah, I was in hospital. My mom couldn't visit me and I felt so scared and alone. And then, then I cleared and healed that girl, that 5-year-old younger version. So it's been really, really amazing. And then last year, November 2022, I felt, no, I need to bring this work, on a larger scale. And I started to do group work. It was an experiment for 6 weeks. How does this work in a group? The feedback was insane. I kept getting return people like, how did you know? Like, it's like as if you read my soul, which essentially I am doing that. I'm like, yeah, I am. And it's so cool. And then I got an intuitive to start this Facebook group November last year. And I was like, Facebook group, like, are people still into that? Like, no, like, but I was like, nope, I have to follow it always. That's my commitment to, not commitment, that's I just know you have to follow your intuition. Life is just so much smoother and easier that way. And so yeah, there's about 90 of us now in the Facebook group. We meet every Friday and I do energy clearings on different topics, and it's incredible. I feel like I'm up leveling as well, with everyone. And it's really powerful work. It's definitely the most powerful work. And I'm going to say yet, because I'm just open, like, who knows in 2-3 years time, but this absolutely is the most powerful work. I'm so proud of this work. I'm so proud of myself, for continuing to practice for hours and hours, and it's sharper and sharper. I can read energy even better than what I did 3 years ago because I practiced so much. So it's even quicker. I can locate where is the block under your armpit, which sounds crazy, but maybe that's where that stuck dense vibration locked in, and I can pull that out. And what is that? Maybe someone laughed at you when you fell on the playground, and you, for whatever reason, like you decided to lock it in underneath your arm. It's not logical work. This work is, at the super conscious level. And now you're afraid to move forward in business or any other area of life because you're scared people are going to laugh at you because, that little person is like, no, I have to always, do things perfectly. No one can laugh at me again. And once I kind of pull out, clear that block, they are able to move forward. And yeah, so what? If people laugh at me, say things, so what? They don't have that heaviness around them anymore. So that's why I say it's truly my most powerful work. And I'm so grateful for the journey, and everything needed to happen the way it has to bring me here.
Yeah. No, and that's one thing I feel like when we do all of this talk therapy and things like that, we're just kind of stuck in the remembering of this is what bothers me, and this is what bothers me, and this is where I'm stuck, and this is such it transmutes you in the now, right? Like, let's just get in there and move these things. And I was really kind of blown away. We had our session, and I know that I do take on a lot within my body. It's not conscious. I can't tell you why or what or anything like that, but I take a lot in my body. And when you were clearing, you found a lot of stuck energy of clients that I'd had. I would do the reading, and I would take on all their problems and hold them in my body like, oh, I'll take it for you. And they felt way better. But I was just getting heavier and heavier and heavier with all of their issues and what was holding them back. And even like my kids or my husband, if they have, like, my son had a sore shoulder, and I put my hand on him and just said, I'm going to take it. Right. So and he felt way better, but I couldn't move my neck for 2 days. And I'm like, what in the world? Why do I take everything in? And so you cleared everything. And right before I got on the phone with you, my throat was like just throbbing, and my body, it was like, it was showing up like, how finally somebody's going to remove all this stuff. And so, so we did the clearing, and then, and also we did some work around the business. And so I went to that event, and I didn't feel that stabbing that I always feel in my gut. But I did feel, I was doing all these readings, and I did feel like I was taking them in again. And I went home, and I called in the light, and I asked to release, and I kind of went back through all of the things that you did. And I still woke up a little bit, feeling kind of like I got hit by a Mack truck, but I had another day of the festival to do. So I was like, okay, how do I not take this in? Right. I kind of learned from you, how do I maybe work on removing it or putting light around me? But I remember Donna Eden, she's this energy worker that I love so much. She did this entire energy routine, and then she would do the zip up, and she would like pull from the root all the way up, and then lock it, so that you're locking in your energy and not letting anybody in. And so I did that morning, and the day went so much smoother, and I didn't feel like I was taking on other people's energy. So it's like trying to figure out ways, but I just wasn't conscious of it, right? Like, you brought that to the consciousness. So yeah, I really am a huge fan of your work. And as I grow, you're going to be kind of somebody that I'm going to go to help, right? Like, I just feel like the work you are doing is so important, and we're not even conscious of it, right?
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. This work is unconscious. We're working at the super conscious realm to clear energy. our logical mind always tries to make sense of things. Oh, my shoulder is sore because, I picked up this heavy thing. But it's absolutely what you said. Even when, like visually, like we're on video, like you're like, oh, I put my hand on my, son's shoulder. And then, yeah, I can like see you as the mom, like the parent, like, oh, I'll take it for you. Like, I'm saving you. Like, you are my child. I need to make sure that you okay, me second. And absolutely, you can clear the energy. And teachers, light workers, wellness educators, we usually drawn to this work, because I'm not going to go into it now, but kind of like we want to fix things, we want to be the solution, and you can be the solution, but you don't need to be take in people's problems. We want to problem solve, but we don't need to take on people's problems. The healthiest thing we can do is to teach people how to connect up to their own light and be in their own power. And as parents, we can absolutely do it for kids as well. And I teach that with all my one-on-one clients, how to clear for your kids, and also teach them, how to connect to their own light so they feel powerful. And also I do a thing, especially with teachers in this field, how to clear energy. I always say it's so important to clear energy the middle of your day, so 1 p.m. and the end of your day, because we take on so much psychic gunk and junk that's around us unknowingly. And after every client session, I also do like a quick cutting of the cords energetically, because oftentimes they would unknowingly, they're looking for you, right, for the solution. So they're giving their power away to us. And it's so important to kind of just cut. You can literally just do that energetically, cut the cords between this client, see them like, in a ball of light. You are in a ball of light, your own, and just cut the cords between you. And anything that's not resolved, send it up to the light. You can even imagine a door closing, windows closing on that session, so you don't take it on. And it can literally just be like 30 seconds. It's not a big thing. I'd like to make things powerful and quick, so you can just get on with your day and your life.
Yes. And that I felt like in the session, you were literally teaching me how to do it myself, even though you were doing it for me and with me and all of that. So I definitely appreciate that. I just want to real quick touch, because I thought that it was super interesting, and I'm sure other people will. And then maybe we can do a little bit of light clearing. You can show us how to do it at the end, before we close here. But I saw that you talked about how you manifested your husband, and you knew as soon as you met him. Or can you tell that story a little bit?
It's the $1 million story. Everyone wants to know. Yes. So when I was still in Cape Town, South Africa, I was 28 and I was ready to settle down. I knew, and I just did all the things, that I was learning about manifesting over the years, about setting your intention, visualizing for a couple of minutes a day. So I did all of that, vision board, very intentional, touching the vision board every day, connecting to it emotionally, like happy couple, bridal couple, beautiful images. And it's so funny, I actually never shared this, but I'm just remembering right now, there was actually a dollar bill on there. I had a client that I was doing work for when I was still in media. He came from New York to visit, and he wrote like good luck, like oh my God, I think he said like hope to see you in America one day. I think he said that. I think he wrote that. I don't have that dollar bill anymore. Dang, I wish I had it. So that was on there. Oh wow, this is coming to me now. And yeah, and just I did all the things, I put the male perfume, the men's perfume, on my pillow. I think it was Tom Ford, so very masculine, waking up, to that scent. So I did all the things. I was like, I'm just going to throw everything at it, sleep on one side of the bed. Well, I kind of always did. So, but very intentional about it. Like, oh, I'm making space, for a love, and did the gratitude list, all the things. So I was doing that for a couple of weeks. And then I stopped doing it. I went on a leadership retreat. I told everyone I was my close coaching friends who kind of like are into this stuff that I'm calling in this big love. And I came back from the retreat and I stopped looking at the vision board. I couldn't do my rituals anymore, like, to calling me. And it was a couple of weeks. And I was like, what is happening? And I kind of asked the question right before I sat down to meditate, because I was very into meditation. And I asked, like, why can't I visualize this dream guy anymore? And I got an answer immediately as I sat down. And I heard, because you met him already. He was the guy you met on vacation in September. He's Ishmael. I was like, what? What? Are you kidding me? Because I made the vision board and all the things after that trip to New York. And I met this great guy, but, it was just, yeah, we were crossing paths. I resigned from radio. I was on that gap year. I was traveling and did all the things. And I just thought New York was part of traveling experience. And so, yeah, long story short, that's why I couldn't connect to it anymore. I met him, and then I speak about it in depth on my podcast. I have an episode, 2 episodes where I go through the manifesting steps on how I attracted this amazing love. And yeah, and then I told him I'm going to come visit him again. He was so happy. We had a very strong connection. Like, it was to the point. I only saw him twice on that trip. We did not kiss or anything, but I felt like I was like close to tears as I was saying bye to him. Like, it was the strangest thing. It's kind of like, yeah, I intuitively knew there's more here, but I was like, nope, Cape Town is home, South Africa is home. I've been traveling. I want to, settle down. So he was basically everything on the list, everything besides he lived in New York. But I did say he's going to be an international man based in Cape Town, because I was around a lot of international people. I was always traveling. So I always knew that my husband would be from abroad. I thought England, the universe had other plans. And then I came back. Crazy story of how I manifested the flights and all of that. I came back. There was a royal family involved. Listen to the podcast if you want to hear how a royal family was involved in making that dream happen as well. And yeah, I was here for 2 weeks to visit him. And he asked me midway through that trip to stay. I made the call to my parents and that I'm going to stay. And I stayed for 5 months. We dated for a year and a half. And yeah, and then he flew to South Africa. We had a beautiful wedding there. He proposed to me. And yeah, now we're married 9 years. 9 years.
Wow. That's such a beautiful story.
Thank you.
So let's do you said that you would kind of walk us through connecting to the light. So let's go ahead, and everybody, if you're driving, please turn the podcast off and do this when you can. But if you're in a comfortable, safe space, Madineyah is just going to take us through a little bit of the connecting to the light, and then I'll tell you how you can find more about her.
Yes, yeah. And if you are driving, you can still like just listen to it. You'll still by osmosis get some of the clearing juju. So yes, so before any type of energy clearing, I do the light activation, and the light activation is to expand us to our true selves, our expanded selves. So once we're in that expanded energy, and then we can clear, because me in my human form, I'm not clearing, I'm being guided by the light. So, and clearing is usually like in a group session, one-on-one. So I won't really go into clearing, but I'll do a little bit of a taster. So yeah, okay. So as you can close your eyes. And take a few deep breaths in and out if it feels good to you. Take your attention 300 feet above your head. That place where you can feel or sense the light. If you are imagining it, you are doing it, allowing the light in the top of your head. And just clearing away all heavy thoughts not serving you right now. Clearing that all away. Allowing the light to move through your third eye. Opening you up to deeper parts of your intuition, to your knowing. Knowing is beyond intuition. Allowing the light to move through your eyes. And just clearing out all things that you wish you did not see. Just allow the light to swirl there for a moment and clear all things. And whatever sounds is in the background, we welcome it. You're just allowing it all in. Okay, let the light move through your eyes. Opening you up to wider perspectives, clearer solutions, expanded possibilities. Let the light move through your ears, opening you up to deeper parts of your inner hearing, your outer hearing. Open your ears up wide, wide, wide. Maybe you're standing in the line to grab your coffee and you overhear someone having a conversation and it's the exact right message that you need. So open up your hearing, allowing the light to move through your throat. Our throat connects our head and our heart. We want to ensure that channel is open. So lots of light down your throat, lots of light into your heart area, opening up to more love of self, more love of self, allowing the light to move through your stomach area. So all nervous energy, anxieties, frustrations, irritations, that usually swirls around in that area. So just add in lots of light there. And often when we are in internal conflict, we feel powerless. That kind of hides behind our navel as well. So adding lots of light there and just imagine all of that coming out through your navel to get cleared. So I'll say the clearing statement. It basically means you blow up energy from the first point of creation and you blowing it up across all points of destruction. You don't need to say it or know it. You can just say yes to the energy being offered. So clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. Pulling out all that crud that's there. Crud, what is crud? Your personal collection that you tapped into of lower vibration thoughts, beliefs, stories, all made up stories. Pulling that all out of your navel area. Just all the crud. It's taking up space that you can use for creation energy, to create, to expand what's possible. We first need to clear the slate, have a beautiful, clean, clear canvas, and then we can create. When you go to a restaurant, you don't sit at a table where 10 people were eating and it hasn't been cleared up. That's essentially what we do when we manifest, try to manifest, create things. We are building from all the old junk, all the old crud there. We need to reset our personal table with fresh white linens, fresh, clean cutlery, crockery, beautiful crystal glasses, clean, clear. Lay the table. Then we can feast. Then we can build. Then we can enjoy ourselves. But we have all this crud. And I'm just kind of being tuned into the collective's crud now. I'm just going with it. Did not think I'm going to do even more clearing, but it's all good. I'm tuning into the listeners of your beautiful podcast, and then also anyone that will be drawn to future replays, however they get hold of this. And that's how consciousness works. It's across all time, across all space. So even though these people are not with us right now, as we are recording, their energy is with us. And that's how it works. So let's clean up all of that, the crud, because I'm hearing everyone drawn to this call, to this episode. They want the white, crisp linens, beautiful crockery, flowers on the table. They want all of that and to create from there. So let's pull out all the crud. So it's easier to create, right? It's easier. You enjoy your meal. Enjoy your meals, your bountiful meals. You're not going to enjoy it on a dirty table. And this image coming to me is pretty apt as well, because a lot of times we're eating off a dirty table and it's not our stuff. We're processing emotions and things for others. So clear all of that, clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. We're processing so much for others unknowingly. Our kids, our family, our clients. We can handle it. We are strong. That's the message we keep telling ourselves. But no, that is how you create disease in your body. All these like stuck emotions, this stuck energy, the crud. So it's very, very important as empaths, those sensitive to energy, to clear your energy every day. Does not need to be as long as this, but every day. Middle of the day, end of the day. Clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. Add in lots of light. Clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. Still getting cleared. Adding in the energy of yes, 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 yes. Yes, the word yes has such a high vibration. I invite you to say that anytime throughout your day for no reason. Just say yes, 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 yes. It will add a quick jolt of a light, high vibration energy running through you. Clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. Just add in lots of firecrackers, lots of fireworks around that area, because that will blow up density very quickly as well, and all the crud. If you are imagining it, you are doing it. This is all good, clean, clear energy. So don't worry. It's all good. It's all here to help you evolve and up level into the true you. You are light. We all are light. So up level into the true you. What would it take for you to up level right here, right now, into the true you? A what would it take question opens up creation energy, opens up possibility energy. What would it take? And you can fill in whatever you want after that. So what would it take for you to allow yourself to be the gift that you are? Everything in the way of that, clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. What would it take for you to allow yourself to be seen? What would it take for you to allow yourself to be the most alive, true version of you right here, right now? Everything in the way of that, clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. Everything you are holding that is not yours, return to the light. Everything that you are holding that's not yours, return to the light. Everything that you are holding, known and unknown, that is not yours, return to the light. And this is those three things I just said now. You can say that middle of your day, end of the day. It can be as quickly as that. All lower vibrations, all lower densities, return to the light now. All lower vibrations, all lower densities, return to the light now. Everything that I'm processing for others, known and unknown, return to the light now. Everything that is not mine, return to where it came from. Everything that is not mine, return to where it came from with love, with awareness. Everything that is not mine, return to where it came from with love and awareness. Whew, clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. Energy is getting lighter. Yes, yes, yes. Still a little bit. But yes, yes, yes. Everything that is not mine, return to where it came from. Can be as simple as that, just saying that to clear your energy, middle of the day, end of the day. I keep hearing for people drawn to your show to say that. Yeah, remember to clear, because you hold so much for others unknowingly. So clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. Everything that is not yours, return to where it came from. Everything that is not yours, return to where it came from. Everything that is not yours, return to the light. Clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. All lower thinking, all lower vibrations, clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. All lower vibrations, all lower densities, clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. And just imagine a lot of firecrackers in your throat. It feels like the energy for a lot of people wants to come out their mouth, suppression, not speaking up, like swallowing their words. So just imagine all of the things that you wish you could tell people, all the annoyances, frustrations, irritations, sometimes you just want to tell someone off, and you're like, no, I'm a good person, I can't do that. So all of that, just imagine, 2 meters in front of you is these people that you wish you could just say anything to, and now we are expanded, connected in the light, and it's way easier for that energy to clear. You want to clear it and say it in this energy so you don't blow up, at the holiday table. So let's just pull out all of that through your mouth, up your throat, through your mouth, and just say whatever you want to say. Just imagine you saying it now. How could you do that to me? I'm such a good person. How dare you? I've done so much for you. You are a fraud. Just say whatever you want to say to this specific person or people. Clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. Boom, the energy popped. And it can be as quickly as that. When we are connected to the light, you have a skilled person in energy, we can blow it up very quickly. Okay, boom. That blew up. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so now we can move. And as you can see, this is a taste of how the clearing works, where the information and the clearing, wants to come through. But we can connect fully to the light, allowing the light to move through your lower abdomen, through your root, through your hips, down your legs, meeting in the center of the planet, the same light above as below. So connect to that light below, go deeper than you think. And allowing that support from below, up your feet, up your legs, through your root, meeting in your heart, coming up your throat, third eye, top of your head. You are now connected by both lights, the divine Father above, the divine Mother below, and radiate across the city, across the country, across the oceans, across the entire planet. Expand past Jupiter, past Mars, through fifth dimension, and beyond. Expand, 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 through fifth dimension and beyond. Open, open, open. Expand, expand, expand. This is who you are. You are the light. If you can notice now, you're feeling expanded, yet grounded. It's very important when we do this work that you feel expanded, yet grounded. And why do you feel grounded? Because we connected to the light below as well. It's very important. Connect to the light above and below. Sending all residual energy up to the light to get cleared. what would it take for all of Angela's listeners and anyone else drawn to this to up-level and upgrade in ways that will support their highest evolution and beyond? Everything in the way of that, clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. What else is possible that they have never considered before? Everything in the way of that, clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. What would it take for all of us to rise in consciousness and rise in our personal lives to truly feel the magnitude and the potency of ourselves? Everything in the way of that, clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. What would it take for all of us to expand in possibilities? Everything in the way of that, clear and transmute across all time, space, dimension, and reality. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This energy clearing is complete.
Thank you so much for that. I know that the listeners will want to listen to that over and over and over. You also have your Facebook group that people can come and join and do group clearings with you, just like you spoke about the name clearing this Friday. Are they up? Can you rewatch? Because it probably won't, this episode probably won't be out by the time that goes out.
Yes, the replays in the Facebook group are just as potent as you attend live. The same with this, like I'm sure you're going to get messages from your listeners after they listen to this, like, well, what the hell just happened? Like, you don't need to be live to feel the rich consciousness. Every clearing is coded with rich consciousness. So if you listen to it 3, 4, 5 years from now, it will still have the same clearing energy. It's pretty powerful work.
Yeah. No, I love
How
that.
was it for you, though? I'm curious. How was the clearing for you?
Oh, it felt wonderful. I had lots of different energy come to the surface. And then once it transmuted, it's this really beautiful, when you get like kind of goosebumps or tingling in that area, I just felt it in all the different areas. And yeah, I feel very, very calm and centered and grounded, but expanded at the same time. Yeah, really, really wonderful. I love the work you're doing, and I'm very appreciative that I've come to it, because as we said, I have a tendency to take in, I can hold that for you. I can clear that for you. Not realizing how much I'm continually holding it. And so, yeah, I will continue to I might clip that little recording and put it on my phone so I can listen to you at any time. Tell me how to clear and transmute and let go of that until it's second nature for me.
Yeah, cool. That's a great idea, to clip the audio.
Yeah. No, so beautiful. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show and for, giving us even more, anybody that's called to listen to this. I'm sure that they definitely needed that, and they get to see a taste of your work. Do you do one-on-one sessions via Zoom as well?
Yes, I do one-on-one energy clearing sessions, and people can find out all information on my website, and also follow me on Instagram, Madineyah.
Yes. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Had so much fun.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. I love what Madineyah has to share. I love that she did a clearing for us today. I continue to re-listen to that. I think it's super helpful, and I loved my session with her. So go check her Facebook out, her website, and just try on some of this energy clearing. I just think it's so important every day to have some sort of practice to make sure you are clearing the old energy, anybody that you're coming in contact with, especially if you're a very sensitive person like I am. Moving forward on the podcast, I'm going to incorporate a little bit more astrology. I can't wait to share all of the different tools that I've been learning that have helped me in my everyday life. I'm tracking the moon, I'm doing some transit work, And then my favorite tool right now is the solar return charts. You can book me on my website to do a solar return chart, which is just from one birthday to the next. I just had my birthday and I've been kind of watching the chart, and I really didn't know what was in store because I'm having this fourth house, this home year, and I just want to build this business and go to these conferences and do all this stuff. And I was like, there's no way this is going to be a home year. And as soon as my birthday came, I felt the energy a little bit before my birthday, but my birthday came and I was like, yep. I just feel so connected to my home and my family, and all my kids are home this summer, and I usually don't love like teaching things like how to do dishes and laundry and things like that, and I am all over it. I am just like, let's go guys, let's learn these skills. And it's just so funny to see the energy in action that I kind of saw in the chart, but I didn't really think it was going to happen like that. So it's been really fun to kind of watch it unfold and utilize this tool for acceptance of what is best, because there's always a bigger plan. Thank you all for listening, and as always, let's keep evolving on purpose.